Hey guys, Nicole here, and welcome back to the Pain Point Podcast, where we offer solutions to your business's pain point. We offer those online solutions, and just to rethink, think, and flip that frequency to find out, give a little mind shift in your business in these years and these times. These are not the end times. These are the great times. This is the great awakening, and we're going to offer some solutions today. And I've got a great guest, my guest here, Lucy Dutton. Welcome to the show, Lucy.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you and with your audience. I was just going to say, so one of the things that I would like to bring to this recording today is that we are going to find a solution to finding your people and to building a community, because we can be very used to working face to face, but a little bit off about working online. So I want to give you some mindset shifts and some strategies and some stuff that I went through very personally around this to help you to find your happy place and kind of that hybrid place of you can go online and you can go offline, and these two come together absolutely beautifully.
Oh, said thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because we met recently through a summit called Crystals of Cash Flow. And we connected through that summit, and you have such great leadership energy. And I think it's so important to have a great consistent strategy and structure in leadership to lead the way and to lead your clients as a coach. We want to share with our clients and lead our clients the right way through heart center, but they still have to have a structure. And so it's a finite way to find those lines and boundaries, especially as a creative soul or an alternate healing soul. And we're finding that this great awakening is bringing this balance. So there's a lot of corporate America that has come online. There's a lot of corporate America, myself being from Silicon Valley in the 80s, growing up in a corporate America, Hewlett Packard, IBM, those kind of companies, growing up with that structure. And at the time, they offered education, they offered purpose, they offered structure, and they really rewarded the employee, not only with benefits, but they also rewarded the employee every time the employee grew mentally, physically, emotionally through certain education platforms and certain structures. It would be automatically rewarded with money and raised up, maybe in a supervisor managerial skill or something into a new department. And to bring some of that positive structure to the entrepreneur world, even solopreneurs, right? We're independent. We may be working as outsource person or leader in our business. Nowadays, it's a little easier as a consultant or a coach. But as we move that in there, we want to remember bringing that leadership comes in, but to entangle that and share it in a quantum entanglement with a heart-led leader. And that's the importance of the great awakening, that we remember the causes that we're here for and we can give back to that. And so this gives us time now as entrepreneurs to grow our business, to grow our families, and to grow our communities. So we've found this wonderful harmony now, and to share that it's so easy to do as an entrepreneur in a 5 years that you've been there, or 10 years that you've been running your business. Now it's time to have a certain mind shift in the business world again, to realize that there's this wonderful partner that we can have in digital technology, whether it's just a website, your CRM, or all the way to AI and virtual reality. There's so much there, and you can say no to some of it, but some of it's going to be there. It's going to make our lives easier, and it's cheaper. You don't have to put these big expenses into software, have all these employees. You can just hire a VA for a couple hours a month to run your campaigns. And it's simplified our life, but yet there's so much out there that's confusing. And part of it is that it's more sometimes not only the how of what to do, but the who do we talk to? So in your business, Lucy, when you're sharing with entrepreneurs and you're doing your coaching or actually what do you call it? Performance?
Yeah, it's high performance or peak performance. Yeah.
Yeah, and peak performance is a great way to share with people who run a business and run their own business to be a peak performer, not only mentally and emotionally and health wise, but in business. How have you find now that there's so much that's changed and coming online? How does that work for you with your clients to find the ability, the ease of coming now, maybe online in this digital world?
Okay. I first of all want to answer that by telling a little bit about my story because it really relates to this, Nicole. And I was very much working offline, very much face to face, and resistant to working online. And then when that time came where we were shut inside for a while, I had to go through that pain of understanding that I had to do something different. And I had to learn something new and do this, what I felt was a new way of working for me. And it was a struggle to start with because guess what? I tried to do it all myself to start with. I tried to learn it myself. I tried to put things out there that other people seemed to be doing or somebody told me I ought to be doing, but they weren't there as a coach. They were just there as a friend and they didn't really understand. And so after a few months of all of this, about 3 months, I found a company that would teach me that I enrolled in for a year. And they were teaching me lots of different things, lots of different ways, lots of different platforms, Instagram and Facebook and groups and how to advertise online and so many things. And I felt at that stage, I had to learn it all. I wanted to soak it all in and really understand that I could make my business happen online as well. And I got scattered. It was too much. And so, one thing that I've really learned as a peak performance coach is that you have to have your focus. You have to know where you're going to head, what works for you the best, what feels good for you, and what aligns. And so, instead of doing us, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, because I did teach myself YouTube and emails and blogs. And it was like there were 7 different places I needed to be. And we were told you can repurpose content all over the place, which was what I was doing. But I wasn't going into one or two. And that's what I needed to do. And so that is a fantastic thing to be able to understand where are your people? Where do they hang out? Are they people that go to YouTube and loved that visual learning as well as hearing it? Are they somebody who likes the written word? Do they like long form, look like things like blogs? Are they business people? Is LinkedIn more their thing? And then just pick 2 of those. Doesn't mean you have to ignore the rest, especially not emails, but those 2, if you really focus on making 2 areas of the online space work for you, because you know that's where your people hang out, then that is going to be a real game changer. And then you can start to be that peak performer in your business in those places. Now, like I said, it didn't mean that once we were back in the real world and we could actually see people face to face, that I didn't immediately go back and see people because that's where I felt aligned. That's where I felt really good. And so I got this hybrid going of I can go and see people, which is fantastic, but I've also now worked out how to do this online thing. And I think with that, it's also when you learn and understand it, if you then want to hire somebody who does it, right? Somebody who you hire somebody who does websites, you hire a VA, you hire somebody to write your emails for you. If you understand what goes into it, you know the value that you're going to be getting and the time it takes. And also what you know is if it doesn't look right, if it's not going well, you're clued up. And so understanding the background and how that all builds is important for you to still keep that bit of control and understanding over that person that you're then paying to help you to move your business forwards.
Many of us were pushed into this situation to get online. And maybe not everybody saw the direction that it was going. We didn't listen to our intuition or the signs of where life was going. I'm a bit of a conspiracy hat wearer myself and saw so many things that were leading to some of this situation. And yet, even though we were forced online and many coaches didn't want to get online because it was the energy of the internet or the energy of Facebook seemed to bog us down so much as entrepreneurs or just as coaches or just in a personal life. There's so much that just got dropped on top of us, like the house onto the Wicked Witch of the West. It just went boom, and there we were. It's this came to us, but and that's what's great of talking to leaders like yourself who are teaching about and sharing the peak performance, because it's that mental fortitude that allows us to pr to take shape, to lead the way, and to understand that we can pivot. Ichikaku talks about it. The string theorist himself talks about the innovation is time is here, and our careers and who we are and how we run our business must change in these times, and we can let all that stuff go and lead the way and sharing with our group to be strong people and share that we can still communicate and connect. This is so great because it does allow us to utilize our time better. And it almost seems that though we don't have to drive to one calls or our coffee chat, we can do it virtually. Even though we've left our cars and we're not stuck in our vehicles or in traffic, because Las Vegas, I was there for several years, driving anywhere, it took 5 miles, it took about 45 minutes. And I lived in
What?
California. The rush hour traffic was nothing. It was like light after light. You're not going anywhere in your car. You're gonna sit and hang out. So you might as well bring food and listen to some good music and pack a lunch. You're gonna be there for a while. And it's, of course, too hot to drive, and you don't wanna walk through certain areas. So you do drive, and going through town, because the freeway system is so awful there, you have to drive through town. It does take forever because there's so many cars. No one's going anywhere, and the lights aren't synced up correctly, so you can't just drive through. So leaving all that behind, it was like, "Oh, great. This is a burden that's lifted off my shoulders. Now I can just get on Zoom, and all I have to do is run to take a break, get a cup of coffee, and come back." However, we've overwhelmed our list and our calendar of who we need to meet with, and we're busy just being busy more and more. How have you seen, or what do you share maybe with your clients when they're working online to be the best them, to get the peak performance out of their day, to really just adjust themselves perhaps to that issue of busy being busy, and maybe you don't really need to meet with 20 people all day long because your business, you're not making money. You're
Hmm.
just talking to people to talk to them. We're trying to get so much done, and it's unnecessarily to do that. Is there a way that you find maybe with your clientele that helps them adjust to this online business day?
Yeah, I would say there are some really clear things to look at. And just going back one step from that, Nicole, you talked about leadership and being a strong leader for others. But very first of all, we have to be a leader for ourselves. We have to understand and lead ourselves and know that where we're going, what our goals are. And then when we've got that clarity, that's when we can lead others as well. And that feels, in the first place, really fantastic. And then it's the mindset of if you were going off and seeing somebody and you were sitting in your car and it takes time to get there and then you do the presentation and then you come back again, you had time to yourself in the car. So when you're online, it's not about oh, I've got to work from 9 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night because I'm here. You still have to give yourself breaks. That's the very first thing. So, peak performance is about having a flow section, like a block of what you're going to do for maybe an hour, or 2 hours, or 3 hours at the most, and then stopping for 15 minutes or half an hour and taking yourself away from the screen and away from anything digital. And then going back into another flow block and doing that. What is the next thing you're going to do? So that they're the very first things. And to understand and write this down if you're taking notes is make that stop time, make the rest time, make that break time part of your work. It is part of your work. Because if you don't have that, you are going to be so depleted by the time you get to your afternoon and your evening. You're going to be dragging yourself there and you're going to start to be overwhelmed. And if you keep on doing that again and again, you probably won't get to sleep very well. And you'll be waking up thinking, what did I miss? What didn't I do? And you feel depleted. So the very first thing is to make sure that you're doing that. And then the mindset of being busy, I just need to talk to people or anybody, it doesn't really matter who it is, not effective. It's not effective. And so getting real clarity on who do you want to connect with? What are the type of people? Whose life do you want to change? Where are they now? And where do they want to get to? And how can I meet them where they're at? And they are the people. When you're in alignment with yourself and you understand that you're leading yourself towards your goals, when that happens, you know who your people are. And you get joy from working with them. You get joy from connecting. You get joy from speaking with them and sharing whatever those gifts are that you have to share. And one other thing as well, that I make sure that my clients are in alignment and understand all of their gifts, all of their strengths and their values, because then they can bring that to the table. So just to give you an example, one of mine is I'm an ex-dancer. And so movement is one of my gifts to give. And movement can get you from feeling, oh, nothing's working today. I feel tired. Whatever. If you get up and you move and you put some music on and you move, that changes your state. Even just getting up and having a good old stretch can change your state, right? But when you move and when you put some music on that really lights you up, you're filling your cup back up. That's a bit of the rest time, but you're actively recovering because you're moving. So I can bring that gift and that knowledge to my clients. And when they understand what that thing is in them, oh, that's my skill. That's my strength. Now they can add that in, and the people that they're looking for light up when you talk about that thing. Oh, gosh, they're just like me. Oh, they understand me, that they're talking my language. So understanding the language, and I don't mean like it's Spanish or French or English or whatever, the language. What things do they say? Do they talk about being holistic? Do they talk about relaxation? Do they talk about whatever your kinds of words are? That is what you need to speak out. When you can talk about the things that you stand for. And you can talk about the things that you stand against. And there will be lots of people that go, that is exactly the same as me. They're the people that are your people. This is what I talked about at the beginning. It's finding your people and finding that community of people and then putting them into one place. So that might be a Facebook group. It might be a LinkedIn group, but it's definitely get them on your email list as fast as possible, because those kind of platforms we don't own. And they might go down at any time. And so really understanding that you're going to push away some people that go, oh, I don't like that. That's a good thing. It's a really good thing. You don't want everybody. You want the people that you connect with, that you can give your gifts to, and they are open to receiving your gifts. And when that happens, boom, that's magic.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And when we're talking about working from all day back to back, you're now an employee. You might as well just be in a cubicle. If you're going back and as a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur to the 9 to 5, are you functioning at that time and are you putting time aside to live your life? And that's basically why you're an entrepreneur. You've been blessed with this ability to work online and all these things and gadgets and techie stuff and all this, that, and the other thing, and to ease our life, to make our life easier. And yet we're sitting more and more, right? And not moving. And the fact I love that you share that you're a dancer and to get out and to have the movement and to have a flow. And so many people are now coaches, consultants, doing leadership, and we're really trying to push and change the energy and the alignment to the manifestation in our business and to flip that frequency to make the 99% the top people and the top earners, not just the 1%. And to switch that mindset and to switch that energy level, we're supposed to meditate. We're supposed to walk, get some sunshine, get some good vitamins, eat delicious foods, natural, healthy foods. And when we're not doing that or we're not moving that digestive system around, our brain gets and if we're not moving, we can't digest our meal. And if we're going, that cortisol level just increases and gets so horrible. And it's what are we doing to ourselves? We need to lead from within. And we are allowing ourselves, we are not accepting our true potential and the leadership that we should have as a coach to share with others to change the world and just to change that one person that's in front of you and to give them your love and your time and to be there 100%. There's all kinds of things that happen. But when you look at a schedule and you're like, okay, I get up at 5 and it's 10 o'clock at night and I don't feel like I've gotten anything in my checklist crossed off at all. Like I'll make a tiny little post-it note just to cross things off to feel like, okay, I did this. Or even if it's a large project, how much of that did I cross off? And that can really mess up, like you referred to, the sleep and the rest. Are we getting good rest if we're in the lights all day? People can't consume all that video. We can't remember the connections we had. This happened to me the other day. I had talked to so many people. I couldn't remember who I talked to. I couldn't remember their faces. I'm like, I can't remember these people. I don't remember talking to that person. And I look online on my LinkedIn and I go, "Oh my god, I just talked to that person. They're reaching out to me." I'm like, "I forgot." And it wasn't brain fog. It was because I had consumed so much at one time to pivot my business. I was in a launch, and that's gonna happen. But to take a break and say, "Hey, I need to celebrate that this launch went well. Now I need to take myself outside. Now I need to go for a run, get some sunshine." And a lot of that too, if I go and walk, and I know when I talk to my clients too, when they walk and get out, you can structure those thoughts and get through all that, not just the monkey mind, but you can process certain things in your business that go, "Oh, okay. I stepped away and now I'm detached. Now I can look at that." And I think that's what a good leader does. And I really love that because when we're talking about peak performance, it's an all around metric, right? For the strategy and the structure of us. And that has just changed so much. And you offer this really great, you offered it through the summit, this peak performance assessment. And I think this is so great because it talks about how are you building your business or currently building your business? Do you want to double your income? Where are you at in your business and in your mindset when you're taking this to say, hey, maybe I need to move my business or pivot or restructure. Life is not scary when we just step back and reevaluate. And I think it's a good thing to do consistently, not all the time to get into the negative mode, but to do that, how often would you suggest somebody go through something like that?
Ooh, that's a really great question. I would suggest it's when you're feeling a little bit stuck. So you self-regulate, right? So the assessment self-assesses, you do it yourself. And yes, I'd love to offer that here to your listeners. And then going through something like that, when you're feeling like, oh, I'm banging my head against a brick wall, or I'm feeling flat and deflated, there's something not quite right. You go back into that assessment again, or you just do an overview because you know the kinds of things that you need to be looking at. And I have a checklist as well, Nicole, which is an overwhelm checklist. And it's like, why am I feeling overwhelmed? Let me just check and see, am I doing these things or am I not doing these things? And so it's like, I think it's about 20 points. And you can go, oh, that's the thing I'm not doing. Oh, that's the thing I am doing. I better. And you go, oh, I know that. Why did I stop doing that? Why did I stop going for walks? Why did I stop whatever it was? And so that checklist just really helps you go, oh, yeah, that's the bit I'm missing, or that's the bit I need to add back in again. And so it's really helpful. But I think we can self-assess when we need to do that self-assessment, literally. But if you're feeling down, if you're feeling stuck, that's most likely the time. And often it's just go back to basics. You're probably making things far too complicated and not having enough help and doing too much because we wear lots and lots of hats as entrepreneurs. And when you can go, okay, now is the time in my business that I actually need to get some help. I need to get a VA, or I need to get my website designed because it's just not working for me. Have those moments where you look at that and you just contemplate and you go through that structure of your business, because I don't feel we do that enough. And when we do that, and it was something that I did, we can actually find that we gain back time. So we were talking about putting too much time in and feeling depleted. When you look at it and you see this thing is not being effective, and this is what I found, I was spending 2.5 hours putting out posts into a group that wasn't effective. And I just went, enough, I've done that for too long. And I hadn't looked at it, Nicole. And when I did look at it, it was like, this is not effective. I can get 2.5 hours back. Yes. And so the way that I help people is to see what is being effective, where they want to get to, and is the thing that they're doing leading them there? Because if it's not, why are you doing it? What's the point? You can be consistently doing something that doesn't work, like I was. Oh, I'm being consistent. But if it's not working, don't do it anymore. So you have to reassess. So even if you feel like, well, I'm doing what they said, I'm being consistent, I'm posting this, I'm doing that, I'm going live. If it's not working after a certain period of time, what part about it isn't working? Can you get somebody else to take a look at it and look at it from a different angle? Because sometimes we're so much in the jar, we can't see it, can't see the outside of the jar, right? And so we need to get somebody else's viewpoint, somebody else's eyeballs on it to go, it doesn't feel like this is working, but I'm told this is a really great strategy. And when somebody can see that and tell you, it's, oh, okay, I didn't see that. So getting feedback is a peak performance thing. And getting feedback as soon as you can, asking for feedback, being open to feedback. And here's one thing with feedback is when you ask for feedback, say, I would love you to give me feedback on this, whatever it is. Perhaps you may have done a presentation or whatever. But to every one thing that you think I could improve on, give me 3 that you felt were good. Because then it's not so hard to hear, right? So for one that you think I can improve on, give me 3 that you feel were good. And then you get the feedback and you go, okay, you said this were good, but I need to improve here, rather than we tend to jump on when we're asked for feedback and say, I think this needs improving and you missed that out. And why did you say it like that? And this person, I'm never going to ask for feedback ever again because it seemed all bad. And so make sure that you put that little trick in there as well. And then there's your mindset. And Nicole was talking about going out for walks in nature, and you can really understand and compartmentalize those thoughts and process them. But for me as well, and absolutely, I agree with you, Nicole, you can absolutely do that. And what also happens for me when I go out and do walks is that I get inspiration. Some people go, oh, when I'm in the shower, I get inspiration. I don't ever get inspiration in the shower because I take cold showers. And I just wanna get out of there after 2 minutes. There's no inspiration happening. But when I go out for a walk, I take my phone with me for 2 reasons: not to do anything digital, apart from take pretty photos if I see something nice, and to record myself when I get the inspiration. Because it's in the moment, and if I come back after an hour, I might go, "What was that thought I had? Oh, it's on my phone. Oh, yeah." So take more time out to be creative, because you're probably a creative person. If you're a coach, if you're an author, you're probably creative. You're definitely creative. And that creative time is away from the screen. It's away from everything, and allowing the universe to speak to you, allowing your angels to speak to you, whatever you feel to come to you, and your intuition, and to get in touch with your intuition, not be going the ego thing. I need to be online. I've got to be, the more I do, the better I am. No, the more you allow, the more you tune in to who you are and your intuition, the more creative you can be, the more successful your business is going to be.
Oh, that's fantastic with that because when we're it, it, w- when you're creative and you let that flow, and if you're sitting and you've got the electronics around you, it doesn't matter how many crystals you have going on. Your mind, it's going to take toll on your mind. It's going to be bad on your eyes after a while. There's all kinds of physical health reasons and issues. And the other thing is, you're not only are you not in flow state and you're not creatively processing, but you're not doing that kind of natural detox throughout your body as well. And so that mind flow, the body flow, getting that circulation in there, letting that oxygen in there, and the breathing and the healing that goes on. And it's that moment in those flow. And definitely take your phone and record yourself, because not only are you going to have that one, even if you remember that thought coming back, oh, I had this great idea. My angels and guides were talking to me. We had this wonderful conversation. And then you're walking like me, you're walking by a lake and there's this crocodile coming through, and then you're just watching that. You get your mind goes somewhere else, right? You get that squirrel effect going on, but it's just natural. And you put that down, and you're going to have key things like doing an automatic writing. There's these wonderful things that will flow that you'll be like, oh, I don't even remember putting that there. I remember writing that down. Oh, hey, did that actually come from me? Where'd that cut that? I don't know where that download came from, but that's a key, very key focus. And you know what's great too is you can delete it. If it's a whole bunch of nonsense or word salad, you could delete it and be like, oh, maybe I just need to let that out. I just need to let it go. I needed to release it, cut the cord, get that toxic energy out. And you're your own best friend. Maybe you're like a bartender or something, just somebody that you don't know listening to you, just gab for a moment. And it's not your inner critic, and you're not sharing details with your family or putting the stress on friends or loved ones or bringing it to your clients. Don't bring that garbage. Get it to your clients and you're like, oh, I had a bad day. Everything's going bad. You're the coach here. Hello. Let's get back to the leadership. You got to put that face on, right? You got to put that really cool top hat on and be the boss and do you. But this brings the other thing, what that key point that I like that you brought in was get out of those places and those groups that aren't for you. And that
Mm.
works in the real physical world as well. If you're
Yeah.
going to a community and going to it's like a grocery store and they don't have food the energy you like, or maybe the customer service is, I hope that you've had enough sense to leave that store and go to a better place, or find a moment, maybe a good song or a tune that gets you through the store. If that's the only store that you can get to locally. But find something that will shift the energy so there's a better, simple experience there, or have your food delivered. There's a lot of places that don't charge you. So looking at that from the level of coach, getting out of those groups that don't work, and you're posting and you're just spraying and praying and trying to communicate and connect with people. And I see these great groups of thousands and thousands of people, and then I look at the date and it's like, this is 2025. Last time posted was 2022. Oh, okay. No wonder why nobody's responding. So why are all these other 10 people posting in here when it's like there's no engagement? There are great groups now, and I belong to a few of them, where we go into groups to connect and move the algorithm at certain time, connect with certain people, and there's great technology so we can move and share our post on LinkedIn, and then we can comment back and forth. And you can spend an hour a day, you can spend several hours a day, once a week, and other people comment. They see your comment, and that pops up and that moves that algorithm. That's a group supporting you. Maybe
Mm.
you don't have something you can say that what they're doing in their post or what their business is, you might not understand, or maybe it's not something that you totally align with, but you can say, you can find something at least in one of their posts that you can connect with and say, "Hey, said, I love the way that you articulate that," or "Hey, there's a thought to ponder," or "Hey, great idea." Perhaps you can say a little bit more and that'll come with time. But if you're posting and your posts are alone, then you're wondering, why don't I get engagement here? You have this whole group by yourself or this whole page and it's empty. It's just your post. Okay, no comments, nothing. And it's just scrolling through and you're seeing for months and months or weeks that you posted, nobody's engaging. You have to get off your page, go to the group's page or other people's page and invite them not only to your group, but you have to engage. And I did this engagement with a nonprofit, and it's like, we have to, as the nonprofit, as a group, go out and comment in the group. And so it's bringing people in and then leading them to that and sharing with them the simplicity. Don't overwhelm yourself again, but stay within those guidelines. It's very simple. When you start to post on people's pages, they talk to you. Maybe you're
Mhm.
not looking for a Gary Vandercheck or going out there to Tony Robbins, because chances are they're hiring someone to engage and comment, and then you'll end up with a whole bunch of bots in your DMs and just weird stuff. But go to people in your community, somebody that's in your networking, somebody that you met on a summit. Go in there and talk to them and engage with them. That's part of the package. That's part of the engagement, a connection and collaboration. And so that's a beautiful thing. And you can have all the crystals you want and this wonderful energy. But if you go there, it just feels almost defeatist for a second because nobody's engaging. You're like, hey, nobody's noticing me. Oh, I forgot to share that. And so you want to boost the confidence. And there's this, which leads me to this. You have this great article here on your page. So I'm snooping through your stuff here. And it talks about boosting confidence through effective communication. That gets us back to this. It comes back to this to talk about the workplace and the social setting and the personal life. Can you elaborate on that? How to communicate effectively online, which will bring us into the human experience?
Yeah, and I think it also comes back to what you were saying, Nicole, is effective communication comes first from you giving. If you think of reciprocity, if you give, somebody wants to give back, right? So if you're communicating, think about it as going to a party. If you're communicating good vibes at a party, you're going round, you're introducing yourself, and you're finding out about the person first. Hi, this is who I am. Tell me, what do you do? And what have you done today? And what's been best about your week? And you're engaging with people, right? So you're putting that energy out there. And then you go to the next person and the next person. Maybe you engage with 5 people. Guess what? Once you have engaged with that person and they're sharing about themselves, once they're finished, what are they going to do? They're going to ask you about, oh, what do you do? How's your week been? And so now you're getting that effective communication coming back and forth. It's exactly the same online. I'll hear people that will go, oh, I'm doing all of these posts. And I'll say, are you connecting with people first? Oh, no, I just get on, put my post on, and then I go. I'm like, that is not going to work. That's not effective communication because all you're doing is me. What people look at what's in it for me, right? What am I going to get from this? So if you're giving first, you will get back from it, but come from a place of heart, come from a place of giving, come from a place of abundant you, because that will come back over time. So the effective communication is 2 ways, has to be 2 ways. And be the leader with that. Go out and be effective in your communication. Make sure it's positive. Like Nicole was saying, even if it's just, oh, I love the way you say that. Oh, what a great thought. I'd not looked at it that way before. Or, oh my goodness, that looks absolutely beautiful on you. It's positive, And it's gonna, A, get the algorithm working for you, but it's gonna get that person going, "Oh, that's nice. They've complimented me." People love compliments. They like to talk about themselves, and they will come back and look and see what they can do for you. Maybe they're one of those people that don't do that, but there are very few of those. Once you've given, you're most likely to receive. So that's where effective communication comes from. And also having a point to what you're saying. So if you're trying to communicate something to somebody, make sure it's effective communication. It's not garbled. It's not in hieroglyphics. Somebody truly understands, and you've got clarity. You've got clarity in your thought. You've got clarity in how you're presenting your thought. And it can just be something that's really simple, but it's clear. People have got too much to listen to, too much to look at. They want clarity. So don't make it complicated. Don't make complicated words. Don't make complicated posts. Make it really simple for people to understand and to get value from it and to feel the love in it and to feel the heart in it. Because you can keep on giving value. Here's something else as well, Nicole. Effective communication and authentic communication comes from you. So it's not, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I can give you this, that, and the other. People want to know about you as a person. They want to understand how you work, how you roll, your ups and your downs. That makes you authentic. It's not all been easy. Truly, it's not all been easy. It's not all been easy for me. It's not all been easy for Nicole. And it won't all have been easy for you. There are those pain points that you've gone through. Talk about them. Talk about them like I did when I first came on here. It was a struggle going online, but I got through it. I didn't want to have to go through it, but I got through it. And when somebody else hears that, it's like, oh, she just wasn't born to go online. She wasn't. Trust me, I wasn't. But I've learned how to do it. And it's fine. It's okay. So be effective with your communication and allow a back and forth, but go with your heart and go to give first. Go from a place of generosity. Go from a place of abundance. Go a place for open mindset. And you'll get that coming back to you.
Well said. So the open mindset to share the effective communication and communicate from the heart as a soul-led leader to bring that to one another. So when we're talking about communication, I didn't understand it until it was because there's all this data around social media and how many impressions you get and the data and people watching it. It can be overwhelming, especially mathematically, and you're trying to figure out, here I am, here this person is, and you're comparing yourself instead of trying to strive to be like them and watch the influencer's journey to where how they got here. But also knowing the reality that, hello, how many of these influencers pay someone else to answer the phone, basically? They answer the DMs, there's bots in there. They have, all these pictures, all this marketing that they pay. They have other influencers that do exchanges at certain times. So what we're doing is we're talking about moving the algorithm on a small scale. That's just like in social life and actual life, being that person that walks in that room and someone can feel the energy, but you're acknowledging other people too in the room. You're answering, you're talking, you're learning more about that person. Maybe they don't want to share too much personal, but ask them about their business, where are they located? What are they doing? Learning about one another. And this is communication. Maybe there's something that you can find that's common, not exact, but we do have to get out of that mindset of they have to believe exactly like me. They have to talk exactly like me. That just makes them a carbon copy and it gets like cookie cutter and boring. So get out of that box, get out of that mindset. Find how you are individually, but also how are you the same, which leads into this post that you talk about. And I like that you talk about this because I had a very harsh journey into network marketing and talking to people. I didn't have a problem talking to people. I'm not a shy person. I'm Italian, Irish. Sagittarius. I came from two parents who are literally just absolutely crazy on medication, real weird life, grew up in the Bay Area. There's a lot going on. I was a little punk rocker as a kid, so I was just out and crazy. Nonetheless, in life and in what I went through a huge change finding myself, and in that I found out how to be a leader. And the way I did that was to go to the police academy. Not everybody's going to learn this. Not everybody, especially from the woo side, is going to go do this. But what it helped me find was leadership and structure. And that I could train people, I could work with people, I could learn, I could be valued as a team player, I could be valued as a manager, I could be supported, and I can absolutely learn to lead without and lead within. And a lot of physical fitness, which we didn't get a lot in school, getting outside, working with other people, being dependent upon people, being part of a group. And there was a big dynamic there. But getting out of that and going into entrepreneurship and network marketing, my problem was not people. My problem was not getting on the mic or talking to people in a sense that I was afraid. It was more the how. And people, I had to join groups because I had to get out of my own way to learn to communicate on a different scale with people. It's very different when you're kicking people out and arresting people, and you're kicking them out of drunks out of a nightclub, kicking and screaming, versus welcoming people into your sphere and sharing a trust and a bond with them. Totally different thing. So to learn to smooth and frost the cake, right? So there's a cake and a structure there, but where's that frosting? So adding that when you find coming into the network marketing, you talk about the connection and the ability to work with other people and ask them questions and them. And how do you smooth that out? Because I think it very is so important, especially transitioning online, how to communicate a little bit nicer to people, how to be a little bit more respectful, a little softer, not where people are stomping on you, but to find that harmony and balance to have a great connection with people.
Yeah, really great. So, one of the things is always to think you're human and that other person is also human. So, be human first. Again, if you were sitting across the table from them, and I remember doing a LinkedIn post about this, and it was like, just imagine, and I've got a cup here, you're holding your cup of coffee or your cup of tea, and you said, "Hey, how are you doing today? Didn't I meet you somewhere in a group? Didn't we connect did I see you at the gym? Oh, fantastic." And there's the connection. You were at the gym together, or you were at another networking event together. And so imagine that you were just sitting off opposite that other human being. So don't go and throw links up everywhere. Oh, join my group. Here's my link. Do my thing. This is who I am. Buy my stuff. You wouldn't do it if you went to a party. You wouldn't do it, hopefully, if you went to a networking event. So be human first, and then you start to find the connections like Nicole was speaking about. What are the things that we are the same at? Oh gosh, yes, nutrition. Oh my goodness, I'm really into nutrition. I take my supplements every day. I have a shake every morning for my breakfast. I have done for the last 27 years. You can get into that conversation, and then the flow will happen. We're back into flow again. The flow will happen between you, and then you can start to talk about the business side. Oh, what do you do? And they're going to ask you what you do. So always be human first. Oh, well, yes. And if you're interested, I can help with that. Would you be interested in finding out more? You get their permission rather than trying to shove it down their throat or between their ears. And that is not going to work. All that will do is they're going to go, no, don't want that. It's pushing people away. You want to draw people into you. So it's a bit like going fishing and it's, this is what I've got. You're the fish. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's you're what I'm looking for. And I know that this is going to be a really good exchange, right? And when you know it's going to be a good exchange, whether they take it or not, that's your person. And so keep on having those good conversations. And on somewhere like Facebook or LinkedIn or even on Instagram, get off the main flow of the post if somebody's interested and get into the DMs. Get off that platform as well as soon as possible. Can you get onto WhatsApp? Can you get onto email with them? And start to have that private conversation where people are going to go deeper because they're not being looked at by everybody else. So asking those effective questions is going to build an effective relationship so that you then can get down to, I think I can help you. If you can, obviously don't say it if you can't. Or you might even find that person can help you in a way, and then you get that collaboration going, and that's magic as well. So you don't know where it's going to lead, but allow it to be a human conversation first.
Absolutely. I think it's the humanizing everything and
Mm,
the force of being pushed online disconnected us so much that we forgot about the engagement. And so many people are able to hide behind posts or to create these fake accounts and go through and do whatever. But if we know who's in our group, we're actually in a safe space
yeah.
and sharing, hey, I know this group, or I can get to know and trust these people. Who are they? What are they representing? And is it a positive amount of time? Are you getting good feedback? Engage with people. And I think that's so important. You even talk about that in your attraction marketing and building connection with people. And Alex talks about it. He's a creator and he talks a lot about business and social media marketing and whatnot. And he does talk about selling without selling. People get to know you or get to know and trust what you're doing and your content that they'll reach out to you. And he mentioned something about, hey, when he stopped selling, his book sold more. So he talked about what was in his book or talked about the benefits of reading his book or some other benefits that would lead people to the book. Because there's so much push, buy, and people are pitch slapping you all the time and they're just want to throw your cards out at social media events, networking, and you're like throwing out their cards and it's, hey, how are you? How are you doing? What kind of business do you have? And it's scary if you're doing something a little bit different than the normal in network marketing. A lot of that is there's always the insurance guy, there's always the real estate person. There's always the maybe the other person that sold the essential oils that's already in there. And so you got to feel out what part of your business can you offer that may be fit for the group. Now, if there's 10 of coaches in there and they do the same thing, maybe that group is not for you because then you're in conflict and you don't want to be in conflict on an energetic level or a business level because that can't help you, or they have already gone through the slim pickings of that networking. And maybe you can find that different group that helps you out. And it's important to find out not only who you are in your business and how you function, and the best way for you to function, but how other people are perceiving you in a sense. And do they have time for you? And maybe you're just getting lost in the sauce. There's too many of that type of business in there. And so find another space that works. The great thing about online is you could try something and you can go, oh, I don't like this. I can exit the Zoom call. Nobody know I'll leave the room. Easy peasy. You can always say no. And that's a great thing to do. And I think that's important to have boundaries. Are you finding, I've noticed that a lot of people want to get that maybe 15 minutes of fame or get the attention. So they're starting to do just bizarre movements or camera play or stuff like that. They're always in the chat throwing their business in there every 30 seconds and go to my website, buy my new book. This is wonderful. And they're trying to get you in the. How do you combat against that? And what would you tell people to just basically ignore it or to just maybe how should they present themselves within a networking group to get noticed without being obnoxious?
Gosh, yeah, no, I've seen that going into different networking groups, whether that is a group that's looking for speakers or they're looking for podcasters or something. And you're asked to put your details into the chat. However, not 10 times as if I, because you can save the chat afterwards, you really only need it in there once or twice. And so I think going with respect for others and respecting that the right people will show up, I think that's also understanding that when we are putting out the right energy and we're putting out that energy that goes, I'm here to meet the right people and the right people will show up for me. And I am showing up for the people that need to hear from me. And if you go with that energy to start with and you're in alignment with that, you don't need to do all that pushing and shoving. You just go, here I am if you want to grab my stuff. That's it. Because you've explained in the networking, whether it's an online networking group, whether it is, I do live networking here with entrepreneurs and small business owners. And I talk about my peak performance, they're talking about their business, and then we just chat. And sometimes we don't even chat about our businesses. But if we're interested, somebody came over to me the other day and they went, oh, you really caught my attention about the health and fitness side. And he was starting up something in first aid and he's a fireman. So he's a firefighter, but he's starting this side business doing first aid and teaching first aid. And he said, and I want to be able to have other people that they can go to. So talking about your fitness and self-care and all of the things that I talk about as a peak performance coach, he was really interested. And it was just that easy, natural progression because I showed up, because he showed up. And it was just the universe putting us in the same place so that we could chat and have that interaction between each other. So definitely if you're doing those sorts of things, if you're going on to groups, and sometimes they'll do coffee chats, again, it comes back to that communication of being interested because people will also ask you. And if you're asked to put your details in the chat or in the box or whatever, then throw it in, but don't do it 110 times. It's no. People like to buy, they don't like to be sold to. And there are actually, I'll take that a little bit back, about 5% of people like to be sold to. The rest, the 95%, like to buy, but they do not like to be sold to. So you can let them know what you do and then it's up to them.
That's true. But at some point you become that 5% because there's something you're looking for.
Yeah,
Yes.
tell me,
So
because I'm interested. So don't be afraid to do that either.
100%, just like the gentleman came up to you. He's specifically looking for something, and maybe you don't understand how you can work together at first, but you think about it, go, oh, yeah, we can have a happy arrangement or referral or a collaboration, or maybe you could share a finder's fee or affiliate with someone, have a referral code from them. And there's great ways to expand upon your business to say, hey, and I share that too. My affiliates become my sponsors in a way, whether it's for my podcast or my summit, where I can share that and say, hey, go find this great product. I've tried it or I've worked with this person. And maybe I'm not using their coaching or their service, but I've gone to their webinar or their workshop and feel that someone else can benefit off this too. And that's a great thing about sharing in this collaboration. And I find this wonderful thing about workshops and summits is there such a great way to branch out with people, to talk to people and give them a stage and say, hey, sell from this, sell your product, tell people about you. You have to talk about yourself and what you do and get more stages so people can see you. And it's a great way to branch out. Have this wonderful speaker, and it's a great way to have referrals. And it's also good lead generation. You want to get these leads out there. Facebook does it shamelessly, they take your information. Well, why not use that in your business? Give your gift, use the leads, and share that. When you have summits and you create events, other speakers and other collaborators give their gifts out, and now you're sharing them. Now they can build more of their leads. And this is a whole business cycle that if we start to look at more of the how and why of what we're doing and really simplifying it and finding a strategy and a structure, you have a set it and forget it where you can start making money and understanding this is going to work itself. What I need a website, a funnel, a lead and a VIP gift so I can get to people and edit it and sell them on the higher product and they're ready or tell them about good stuff. You've got to you're always selling yourself. And I think that is a great way to look at that instead of hey, I'm the used car salesman from the 80s that just wants to sell you a big thing of junk, right? On wheels. Hopefully it moves and it goes when you start it. We're not doing that. We're here because we need to be in business and we need to be abundant. And how can we be abundant? What are the ways that we can change our mindset or maybe detach ourselves from something that we're doing and step back and look at that? But I do want to get to at least one last thing is when you're talking about what you just brought up in the networking health. And there is something about that when you're network marketing, when you're talking about your business, when you're out in the store, you're at an event or you're at the grocery store, maybe in a hat and no makeup on. How do you look? How do you hold yourself? How are you selling yourself in a way always throughout your community? You may not look 100% your best, but your energy is still good. You're healthy, you're fit, you've got a great mindset. People feel that when you walk in the room. Even if you just grab your groceries and go, people will see that or feel that and feel comfortable that, hey, there's an actual good human here, there's a healthy human here. And more of that, I believe, needs to be spread out. I think that's such a good thing because when you're in business and you look at that, I look at it back from corporate America and from law enforcement. In law enforcement, if your shoes were polished, your uniform was ironed and clean, your hair was brushed, and you just stood there, kind of statuesque, but you have this great physique, people are more apt to talk to that officer, say hello, or engage totally different. It's your physical presence, i.e., even a dancer, someone that's beautiful and moves, just flows on the stage, and you're watching a ballet, and there's just this gorgeous dance going on. There's something about the energy and the health of that and the physique. To get not everybody is perfect, but there's a different state of mind and there's a different energy that shows up in the room when you take care of your body, your temple, your vehicle. How does that affect people on a higher level when they start to add a little bit more self care and love themselves?
Yeah. It gives people confidence, not only in themselves, but they're conveying that confidence to others, right? So remembering that we as humans are judgmental, even if we're not negatively judgmental, we automatically judge something when we see it. Oh, they're not looking very joyful today, or they look a bit tired, or oh, they sound fantastic. We're judging. So it can be positive, it can be negative. So whether you're face to face with somebody or whether you're online, people are watching. Even if there's not much engagement, oh my goodness, people are watching you. And if you're showing up and you're positive, if you're showing up and you are looking good, if you're going on to lives and you're looking good and you're sounding great, people are judging you and they are drawn to you because of that. And when I can help somebody to improve their fitness levels, their health levels by eating healthily, by getting the right amount of sleep, because that's a huge thing with peak performance. Again, you have to be getting the right amount of sleep. When they're doing that self-care routine, when they're meditating, when they're doing their creative writing, whatever those things are that light them up as self-care, they're relaxing in a hot bath with lovely incense, or whatever those things are to fill them up, they are going to feel so much better and they're going to look better. And when they dress, they're going to, because they look and they feel better, they want to dress better. And so that confidence then starts to help them to stand better as well. So their shoulders are back, their chin is up, they're not looking down and they're not, with the shoulders down and rounded and they're not tired. If you've got that sleep, if you've taken care of yourself, if you look and feel the part, guess what? You look and feel the part. And people get that energy, that beautiful, majestic, and graceful. Yeah, it's the essence of you. That's
Yes.
what they get. They get the essence of you. And so, what do you want your essence to be? Do you want to be a little bit out of shape, not really taking care of yourself? Because they'll be thinking, if she's not taking care of herself or he's not taking care of himself, I don't know that they're going to take care of me very well either. Subconsciously, they might not consciously be thinking of it, but in their head, that's the judgment. Oh my goodness, She turns up, she looks fantastic, she always dresses well, she always takes care of herself, she puts her makeup on, she does her hair. Whatever that thing is that draws you in, if she takes that much care about how she looks and how she shows up, she's definitely gonna take care of me. Subconscious. And if you're out there on stage and you're a speaker, so I'm sure there are some speakers here, again, if you are looking fit on stage, you're in shape, you've clearly taken care of yourself, the exact same message is going across to the audience, and they're much more likely to want to work with you than somebody who's really not taking that much care of themselves. So that is, I feel, is going to be the effect, and the confidence in yourself and the confidence that you convey.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think it's the mind, body, and soul that starts to come through with that. And there's just something to be said with the health and the movement today. And now there's a shift here to say that what we're eating, and not to slander anybody or put it down. Hey, I like a good cheeseburger and a beer once in a while. I'm okay. That sometimes it's just what I like. It's not chocolate. It's just cheeseburgers and beer, maybe a piece of apple pie. But all the other days, I food prep, I meal prep, I look at, is it organic or was it farm produced, or is this food natural? Am I getting out, getting sunshine? And I think that's very important. And people do notice that in you. And we do judge. We're meant to judge because we're animals. We have to judge our territory, and we have to judge the people that are speaking. And are you watching somebody because you feel you have to? Or are you watching and listening to somebody because you're attracted to them in some light, some type of connection? Maybe it's the way they're healthier, or maybe they have a food recipe that you enjoy. Maybe there's a smoothie you like that you look at. What's the recipe? And there's so much that we have that's advantageous. If you're home and you're working out, you can work out with kettlebells. I'm a kettlebell person. Do a small, short training. Take a few minutes, take a yoga break. And if I have a long day, I'll stop and go, okay, I got to do a little stretch, because otherwise my back is, you got that sciatica kicking in on you. And then you look at these health issues that have increased since we've got so far into technology these days, that we're sitting and that we're sedentary. And we talk about, as coaches and healers, I feel that we talk sometimes so much about health and wellness and self care that we have to stop and detach. And that's absolutely into peak performance and leadership. If we detach and go, whoa, am I saying one thing and doing another? Oh, yeah. Note to self, maybe stop doing that, because we want everybody to have a healthy lifestyle, better quality of life for our children, for our planet. And how do we do that? We are here and healthier, and you have more focus, and health is wealth. It is an energy exchange that we have with ourselves and the people around us. And when we shift our mindset and we start taking care of ourselves, that either those bad, nasty people will leave your life, those negative Nancys will leave your life, or they'll say, hey, I want to shift with you. I want to go for a walk with you. I want to get out of the house with you. I want to eat healthier with you. You don't have to eat like I do, but hey, maybe there's something we can share over breaking bread. And then that comes back to community and connection. And it's so very important, I think, for us to share how this changes us in our life. And leadership is so important because it's something that I've found that has just changed life, to have a structure and a strategy and a go-to place to help other people. And in nonprofits, if we're talking about like domestic violence, I work with confronting domestic violence. And I think it's so important for victims to see that you're going to be there for them. And if you want to share with someone how to change their life and get to that emotional mindset of post traumatic growth, that they need to have a cushion and a safe space and somebody that can lead. So if they need help, that they can see that within you, that they know that you can teach them, that they want to have that life, that you're not just copying, pasting from some blog you read that this is probably a good thing to do, but they want to believe in that. And in
Mhm.
order to believe in that, they see that you're someone that they can trust. And I find that works in coaching the same way, to see the difference. if we are leaders and we are healthy, then we can shift the world to be a stronger place, and we can have that that frame and structure. Oh my gosh, this is great. I love leadership. As you can see, I'm a big leadership nut, and I think that it's so important in the part of life that we do in our business and in personal growth, and that the tidbits that you share are just phenomenal, and just so the way that your content is placed is just so easy to look at and go, yeah, hey, I should do that. Yeah, hey, I forgot about that, or I didn't think about that. This is a good tidbit. This is a good juicy tidbit. You share so much in this, and I am so glad that we have connected through this event, and to work with one another and to find this type of collaboration and connection. And this is what you can find online, guys, if you go to the right networking places and you look, Lucy said, and you go in there with the intention of finding the right people for the message that you want to share. Lucy, as we wrap up, anything else that you want to share with the audience? Definitely. Please feel free, or some subject that you want to talk about that you feel that maybe we haven't really approached or are gotten to the thick of it.
I think we've covered a lot in the time that we've had here together, and you've probably had a lot to take in. And some of it you'll be going, oh, yeah, I know that. But are you doing it? Like Nicole was saying, self care. Are you teaching or are you coaching? And the way that I look at that is somebody can teach you how to do something, but they're not necessarily doing it themselves. I feel as a coach that I have to be, and it comes from the leading yourself first, right? And it comes from, I have to be that peak performer first before I can coach on it. And so if you're leading a group, if you've gone through that thing and people then understand that you really understand what it takes and that you've gone through that process, you've gone through the strategies, you're using everything that you're talking about, that gives the trust. And I remember going onto a group and giving a speech for 20 minutes. And I remember then going into a breakout room and one of the guys went, so do you do all of that yourself as well, Lucy? I'm like, absolutely, because I'm not a teacher. I'm a coach. I do what I say and coach on. And it's, oh, okay. And I'm not sure if you believe me or not, but I could say it hand on heart that yes, I do those things. And so coaching is coming from that place of, I do this. So if you've fallen off the wagon with self-care, get back on the self-care wagon, because that's really important. And everything else that we've spoken about, perhaps you want to listen to it again, take away a few key points and don't just think, oh, that was interesting. Put them into action, because action builds belief in yourself, and action also will help you to build your business. If you just think about it. So that's it, Nicole. And if you want to find out more about the peak performance assessment, I think Nicole is going to drop that link below the video.
Of course I am. I want people to go to that. I think it's so great. And it's Lucy J, is it Dutton.com, correct? The
Yeah.
website? Yes, absolutely. Your name. I love that because you're branding yourself, and you speak just mountains of exactly what you do. You are your brand, and you realize that, and you wear that on your sleeve. And I do appreciate that so much. It's important for us to truly be ourselves within and without, as above, so below. And if we remember these things as we are widening our breadth of connection through the virtual online space, that we can take that metadata and reprocess those downloads on a spiritual level. And it just share like a billboard to these platforms online. And we can have a great connection. And so we can share great connections one to one. And it's just a beautiful thing and a beautiful message. Thank you so much for sharing, and you always have such a great message, and I look forward with speaking to you in the future. Thank you. Hey, guys, so many solutions today, just so many pain points, but without the overwhelm, and take action. Find one thing that really impressed you today, that when you're done with this podcast or even just right now, go do. Take action on it. See how you feel about it. Dip your toe in the water, move forward. Remember, it's just a remembering of the experience, and is it a good experience and something that you can wrap your head around and do every day or schedule in your calendar. You can move away from that computer and then bring such a great, refreshed, healthy human back to the connection. That's what we're looking at is processing good leaders and coaching people along the way. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Have a good day.